Can we talk about possible uses of AI within either DoD or our adversaries' military capabilities?
Sure. One of the reasons, if I may, one of the reasons I describe it like that is to have people realize that AI is not monolithic. So when we say AI, what we really mean is a specific AI-based technology or specific statistically based technology. And it's important to differentiate that because we may be doing really well in for one use case and very poorly in another, and that may be so for our adversaries as well. And so if we focus mostly on AI as a monolithic thing, if we have it, we win. If they have it, we lose. Then we're actually missing where we should be aiming our attention at, particular capabilities that we want to deliver or capabilities that we want to defend against. And so we spend a lot of our energy characterizing those. That's a conversation I'm happy to have with you in a different venue. But there's lots of use cases within the business aspects of the Department of Defense. Doing analysis of the documents with modern language-based artificial intelligence is really effective. Understanding the environment using computer vision is really helpful. But in that case, when you think about understanding a document or an image being analyzed and some action being taken from that analyzed image, it's really important to remember that that was a statistical answer. So let's say that we say that there's something in that image. Right? We're looking for a truck or a school bus, and we say it's a truck, but it's actually a school bus. And the system got it wrong, called it a truck when it's a school bus. It's really important to us to build systems that aren't simply dependent upon that algorithm, but that have humans wrapped around it. It's really human-machine teaming, so that a human can say, oh, no, it got it wrong, and then there's because remember, they're statistical, so it will always be the case that every model will sometimes get it wrong. Always be the case that every model will sometimes get it wrong. So you need to have a human-machine teaming structure so that human can correct the system and feed back to the system and make the system better.
And I think as it relates to weaponizing AI, one of the benefits is the speed at which it can act. And if you have a drone swarm that's AI enabled, I mean, how do you incorporate the human component?
Correct.
Because the whole benefit of using AI in that scenario would be the speed at which it is able to act.
Correct. I think that's an excellent question, and thank you for it, Congressman Timmons. One thing the military does well is train with technology. And so you can think about the way our training works over and over and over and over and over again as a way for you to develop justified confidence in a tool. Right? If you have justified confidence in your weapon, sometimes it's going to jam, but you still get a sense of the likelihood or the conditions under which it might, and you learn how to use it.
I see where you're going.
Right?
Using planning for the training component to make sure that you've answered the question 4,000 times before it's actually done with live fire is the solution.
That's right. And sometimes it will get it wrong, and then whomever made the decision to deploy that system will be responsible, as we always are. Like there's always a responsible agent making a decision to deploy a system.
And I guess what's concerning is that while our military will likely make sure that there's a human component and a training component, a non-state actor that doesn't care about collateral damage or consequences of their actions may be able to use the same technology without regard to the necessary collateral damage.
That's 100% correct. And then we see that as a particular use case that we should train against. Sure. What are the tools and countermeasures we need for that situation? That's why I think it's really important to not think about it as monolithic, but as use case by use case based.
Sure. Hey, thank you for being here. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman yields. Next, the chair recognizes the Honorable Representative Higgins from Louisiana for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the subcommittee waving me on for me to address this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Dr. Prabhakar? It's a lovely name, and we appreciate you being here. Madam, in your written statement, you say that one of your quotes, I believe, says, AI advances also bring the risk of a deepening erosion of privacy as surveillance increases and as more and more sensitive information is used to train AI systems. You point out that authoritarian governments are already using AI to censor and repress expression and abuse human rights. Is that part of your statement, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, I'm just clarifying. I have a broader concern I'd like to focus on in my limited time here regarding government's use of AI in enforcement of laws and regulations. And I think that I'm strongly against that. And I'm going to ask you, Mr. Hyson, regarding law enforcement. It's my background. You may not know, but I appreciate the work that's done on the ground at the enforcement level, and I have my concerns there. But for you, Doctor, you referenced the authoritarian government's use of AI. Talk to us about criminal enterprise or state-sponsored cyber threat enterprise and how that would relate to AI. For instance, like malware AI or Trojan horse AI. We've seen major compromises of cyber systems at the government level and in the private sector. In my state of Louisiana, all driver's licenses. If you have a driver's license in Louisiana, your data was compromised. That's pretty much everybody. So we have stories like this across the country. It affects us all. Seems to me that AI is a tremendous threat in that arena. Can you address that?
Thank you for the question, Congressman Higgins. You're focusing on some of the important issues about the power of AI and which makes it very appealing to solve hard problems, but then comes with these risks that you've highlighted. Many threads in some of your comments. Let me focus for a moment on the cybersecurity element, because I think it's a great example of the bright and the dark side of AI technology. What we are seeing with the advances in AI is the ability to write software code more quickly, more securely, more robustly. Those are some of the bright side advantages. And at the same time, this is a technology that can be used for cyber attacks to look for vulnerabilities, to generate attacks more efficiently. And so I think that is the landscape. And then the choices that all of our work focuses on, of course, is how do we mitigate those risks and secure, for example, securing our systems, our cybersecurity systems,
right, we have
as we can.
In the interest of times, you're aware, and your team and the executive branch and the president is aware. And we hope that we have to be very focused on a balance moving forward between the power of AI and the potential dangers of AI. And I think primarily we have to establish security against weaponized AI from criminal networks and from nation states that will use AI against our nation. And at the same time, we have to make sure that we don't build AI into our own governmental enforcement systems that would threaten the individual rights and freedoms of Americans. Mr. Hyson, briefly, you mentioned that AI recognized patterns in a crossing at the border. How would that relate to the instinct? You believe that AI could dull the human instincts and judgment in law enforcement operations, and similar to the way that, like, many engineers now cannot use a slide rule. We don't remember phone numbers anymore. They're in our contact data. Most Americans cannot read maps and operate a compass anymore. We use GPS. And kids in school they're not taught cursive script, and yet all our historical documents are written in cursive script. You understand where I'm going with this? Please, briefly, if the chairman will allow, address that as it would relate to the instincts of law enforcement.
The witness may answer the question.
Congressman, thank you. I certainly acknowledge the risk and want to assure you that we are leveraging AI as decision support for our law enforcement officers, but that ultimately our officers are the ones responsible for making law enforcement decisions. I also see tremendous potential to use AI to remove repetitive paperwork and administrative tasks that our officers have to do that they would tell you and they tell me dulls their focus from their security mission.
Thank you, sir. That's the answer I was hoping for. Mr. Chairman, I appreciate the indulgence.
Thank you.
I yield.
Gentleman yields. The chair would like to thank the witnesses for your time this afternoon. And without objection, members will have 5 legislative days within which to submit materials and additional written questions for the witnesses, which will be forwarded to the witnesses. Without objection, the subcommittee stands adjourned.